Hello, beautiful women, beautiful people. Welcome back to our weekly live stream. And today we are talking about our personal life stories and how actually it's similar but different, how we actively chose life. But before we start, Rakefet, you want to introduce us, say hello, how are you?
Yes, hello, sisters. We are Yaara and Rakefet from LifeBloom community. We help mom devoted to self-love, awareness, and personal growth go from constant guilt, burnout, and putting themselves last to just feel good, balance, self-fulfillment, joy. And we are so glad to be here in our beautiful community. We're going to tell you today about an amazing thing that we're working about for the past 6 months. So stay tuned until the end. And this live is actually going to be very personally,
Personal.
but we decided we're going to share very personal stories. You probably haven't heard them before, even though you might follow us and know us from our different businesses, because it's something that is not easy to share. But we are here today with our open hearts and just sharing that because I think we have an important story to tell. And as Yaara said, it's the story about how we chose life. We choose to live and we keep on choosing this, but there was a certain point in both of our lives that we had to make a decision. So yes, Yaara, do you want to start and maybe
I, I, I
sharing?
I just want to
Yeah.
say, like you said, how we chose life, and there was a certain point. Even though we're talking, we're gonna tell you kind of different life stories, even though we're sisters. But I feel like every person that is going through a real life journey of change, of growth, involving in spirituality, involving in self growth, there is a pivotal moment. There is a moment where you have to take action and your life begins to change. And for everybody, it's a different time in life and also in a different topic. But you might also, I feel, kind of recognize some of the things that we're telling you here in yourself, in your life journey. And I think that would be really interesting for you to notice that and for us to hear it if you want to share in the comments.
Yeah, and also make when we thought about these like changing point, we noticed that there's not only one changing point, but there were like several points
Yeah.
that we had pivot moments and an understanding that we need to change. But there was a certain time that it was enough is enough. Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
see that before. I still have the guts to do it, and I understand I need to make some changes. So I do small changes, and there's a certain point it's like, okay, that's it. If
Yeah.
I'm not doing
Uh,
major changes now, I don't know where I'll end up. So yeah.
I call it the point of no return when I work with women and in
Yes,
my own journaling, I call it the point of no return, where
good.
there's no
There's no other option. Yeah. Yeah, I can't hear you. I don't know if your internet is
we're
okay.
good.
Do you, yes, yeah. But you said the point of no
We're,
return. I said it's a good phrase, and after that, we didn't hear you.
yeah, the point of no return is the moment where you understand that this is going to change forever and this is never going to be the same again.
Yes. Okay. So maybe let's start by you telling your story, sharing your moment of like the changing moments, and then we'll talk more about it. Like, what was the conclusions and the changes that you decided to choose?
So
So,
I think we need to like give a bit of a background. Like let's set the ground for a moment. We're
yeah.
sisters, but we are actually a part of four sisters, where we are the youngest. And
And
being
we
the
also have
youngest,
this
we're
time different years between, apart from our older sisters. Like Yaara and the
yeah,
biggest one have 17 years between them. So yeah, it's a big gap.
very, very, a very large gap. And being the youngest too, so Rakefet is the older than me, but we are the bottom, the low,
I'm the
the
third and she's
ones
the
that are.
fourth.
Yes, she's third and I'm fourth. Um, I think it also had like, we also kind of lived and embodied that role of being
Little sisters.
the youngest, right? Like we also, I think it's the way that people in the family also always treated us and looked at us, but we accepted that on ourselves. We are the youngest. The youngest are always the ones that you need to take care of most. They are like, they're always kind of the last to grow, of course. And it had a lot of weight in our personal growth separately and together, being the youngest.
And
And
I
we
have to say
also are daughters who.
I have to say that I feel for myself that I was aware of that weight, that being the little ones. You remember they used to call us, "Are the little one coming? Where are the little ones?" They used
Yeah.
to say that, like our parents and our sisters. So I remember that like 3 years ago, and I'm 41, so like 3 years ago, I just noticed like, oh my God, I'm still talking to myself in the head like that. Why am I doing that? So it took me years to notice that I'm carrying this with me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me it was around 31 when I hit the point of no return about that, when I stopped treating myself as the little one. Because it was such a heavy weight for me. My whole life, I always felt like I'm the youngest one and I will always be the last. I will always be the one to compare her to her older sisters that will never measure up to the things that you have done, that our older sisters have done. We're all amazing women. And that was such a heavy weight for me. And it also, for me, took years to let go of that. But it was around 31 when I just was, that's it. It's enough. But I was starting to say that we are also daughters to parents who got divorced. And for us, it was quite early on in life.
Yeah.
So for me, it was when I was 4, when they actually got divorced. So for you, we have 7 years. Oh, I'm gonna have to do math now. How old were you when they got
12.
divorced? 12.
I was about
11, 12.
12 when they announced it to me that they're gonna divorce. Because I
So
remember
you
the
remember.
specific moment.
Of
Yeah.
course you do. Of course you do.
Yeah.
So daughters to quite painful divorce that took years. That unfortunately still we have some whiplash from that, and this wound is not completely healed in our family. That
Very,
also,
very,
not only it took.
very tough divorce.
Very difficult divorce. I think also that the divorce, maybe for us even more, because we were the youngest and we were still at home while this happened, because our older sisters were already in university, and like they had a very like, right, but we lived it at home. And I think for me it affected the way I grew up and the personality that I created tremendously. I mean, really. So this is kind of like the background that we both share, that we both come from. But I can tell you that for me, being 4 when our parents got divorced, it created a super anxious personality, like anxiety and feeling disconnected and feeling afraid of the world, like I have to hide from the world, because for a little girl, her parents are God. And if there's not a sense of safety with the parents, where the parents are not, they don't feel like a safe ground, then nowhere is safe, right? The world is just dangerous. Nowhere is safe. And that is a very, very scary way to live as a little girl. Like, what can I trust? Where can I trust? And I talk about it a lot now when we do our lives and in our community and in the courses, that I found my healing in the work with my body, where I always say that our body is our safe ground. That is my ground of safety within myself. That to me was a big part of healing that wound, of feeling anxious and feeling evil, even, let's say. Um, so yeah, feeling very, very alone and alienated. But I think having each other, for me, that was like the biggest anchor in life, because we, again, were the ones that stayed at home. We were still young, so we were still living at home, and we became very close. We would spend every afternoon together, coming back from school, making lunch together, just sitting, watching TV, sitting in your room, sitting in my room, whatever. We were so close. Like, our life was, even though we had very separate happenings inside, because there was a big difference. We're 7 years apart, but we were very, very, very tight. And I think that's why, like, also when our parents talked about us, it was always like a bundle. Like, we go together. Everywhere
Yeah.
we go together.
And we also moved quite far away from where we lived, and we moved to the north. We used to live in the center of Israel, and moving so far also got us far away from our friends, and also like the things that we were used to, because I was a teenage already, so I was kind of used to live in the city, and now I live in the village. So there was a lot of changes there that affect our life, and this is one of the things that also made us so close. Like these changes of who am I? Am I a city person?
Yeah.
I'm a village person? Where are all my friends? So we
Yeah.
became like friends for one another.
Yeah, definitely. And it was still a difficult time between our parents. So we really needed also like that support, that kind of back of someone who knows what we're going through, because our sisters were already, again, living outside of the home. So they had kind of a different life around that. They experienced the divorce very differently. I'm sure it was very difficult for them as well, but it was a different story. And so we lived up north. We lived away from also our sisters, which were in the center at that time. And then I was around 12 when we moved back to the center. And you were already, like, if in a stage where you were going to the army, and you started like going outside of, leaving the house gradually. We'll talk about that in a bit. And then there was also a pivotal moment for you, and you decided to leave Israel, to go to
Israel.
England. Right? I'm touching your story because we're connected. What can we do?
Yeah, it's okay.
And at that point, because like we just said, you were my safety. You were like my best friend. You were everything to me in that moment. That anxiety that I had in me was just overwhelming again. And I became anorectic. And it was during that time that she moved to England, and I stayed alone with my mother and her then husband. And to be honest, I just couldn't be there. I just couldn't take it. I couldn't be there, and I had to find a solution. And my inner world just said, you know what? We're just going to find a way. And the way that I found was to be anorexic. Somehow, with, I know, and I trust, and I believe that the guidance that I had from above was that I would go through that to create this life change. But of course, it went through a lot of pain. And so I became anorexic, and we talked about it also a bit in the Zoom where we did about how to love your body no matter what.
Yeah.
And so at 14, what?
Go and watch that live after this one.
Yeah. By the way, now I just said so at 14, and at the same time I looked at the clock of the time that we're alive, and it said 14:14. So at age 14, I decided to submit myself to the hospital. It's a very weird thing for a 14-year-old to do, but I realized that I cannot stay at home the way that I was, with the emotional and physical state that I was. And I submitted myself to the hospital. And of course, there was so much happening there, including therapy with my mother, and like therapy around food, around body image, all of these things. But I stayed at that hospital in a closed ward
Unit.
department
Unit.
for unit, yeah, for almost 6 months, around 5.5 months. And during that time was that first point of no return for me. Because around my birthday of age 15, right before, about a month and a half before the birthday of age 15, I remember I sat in the dining room of the unit, and usually because it's a mental eating disorder unit for a children's hospital, you're not allowed to eat alone. There has to be at least one, sometimes two people watching you while you eat. And there's a timer, and you must finish your food during the set time, because you can't you sit there. Otherwise, you might sit there for 2 hours and just, kind of stretch time. So you're not allowed to sit alone. And I was there for almost 4 months, something like that. And I was out visiting my family, and I came back in, and I was late for dinner. So they told me, okay, go in, you have your plate, we'll come in a minute. And I came in, and I sat near my plate, and I'm waiting, and no one is coming. And I said, well, why aren't you coming? I went there and I said, why aren't you coming? Okay, sit and eat. And I thought, I'm gonna eat alone? No one is gonna look at me? And in that moment, I had a choice. And I looked at the plate looked back at me. And I said to myself, okay, if I take the food and I throw it in the bin, of course they will check the bin after I leave the room. They will check if my food is there. Or if I hide the food, or I do anything to kind of use this trust that they're giving me and break that trust, then I'm never leaving. That I don't want to heal. I don't want to go back to the real world and be alive. But they're giving me a chance right now. And if I decide to sit here and eat the food and be honest, then I choose to live. And I looked at the plate, and I sat down, and I started eating. And I just ate, and I finished everything, and I looked at the clock myself, and I made sure that I'm finishing in the set time that they scheduled for me. And when I finished, I came outside, and I told them, I'm done. And I was so filled with so many emotions. There was fear, there was pride, there was, what did I do? Why did I do it? Oh my God, I can't believe that I am so strong. How amazing. There was so many emotions. But that was the point that I chose, that this is over. This chapter is over, and now I'm healed. It was a very clear choice. And of course, there was so much.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you, because you had some issues with internet before, and you said something important, and I think we missed it. You said that you sat there, and the plate was looking at you, you're looking at the plate, and you had to decide, had to make a decision, and we didn't quite get this specific sentence that you said about the choosing. So what were you choosing from? Like, what were the two options? So can you say that?
That's where it cut me off. It's very rude of the internet to cut off such an important sentence.
Most of it we got. But I think was an important sentence there. So say it again.
Yeah.
So you were looking at the plate, you had to just decide between the two.
The choice was either to take this opportunity that they chose to tell me, we trust you, and to show them that I am trustworthy and I'm choosing to be here for myself. Or I'm telling them, you know what, you can't trust me. You still need to keep an eye on me, and I'm not doing this for myself. So it was either I'm taking responsibility and I choose to live, or I tell them, I don't want to live. I'm not doing this. You have to be like the one that's choosing to live for me. I think that like there's so much more that I can say about that, but I want to be conscious of the time, and I want to give you the time to talk. So I'm just going to say for like two closing sentences about about that. Of course, there were so many moments of change and growth after that, but that at 15 was like a pivotal moment for me where my life took a completely different form. And for me, that's when I became a healer because I chose to heal myself in that moment. And I was very conscious of that decision. And there was a lot of inner work before that, after that. But that was like where I chose life for the first time. Now it's one of the biggest moments in my life.
I think what you just said is like, you decided to take responsibility. And I'm going to share my story too. And I feel that this is exactly the point of like the changing point for me is like, I had enough. I have to take the control to my hand. So I think this is the main thing here. Like the changing was I have to take responsibility, not the blame. I'm not blaming myself, but I want to be responsible because I understand that I'm responsible to what is going on and to the results as well and how I'm going to feel about it. So like when you said I'm looking at a plate and I have a choice to make because they are trusting me. I can fool them. Okay, they will know, but it doesn't matter. I can still fool them and kind of win that I don't need to eat that. Or I can say to myself, who am I fooling? Am I fooling myself? Is this how I want to keep on living my life? Or do I take responsibility now and I decide to change this thing, this game that I now in? Okay, I'm saying the game, obviously I don't mean it as something foolish. Like this is my life right now. Am I taking responsibility over my life and deciding something different? And I think this is the main topic here. And Yaara, again, your internet is not so good. So fix that while I'll go and share my story. Hopefully you hear me. Let's just make sure that you do. Where are you?
I do
Okay.
hear you.
Okay, you do hear me. That's great. Okay, but your picture is stuck. So just know that. If you want to fix that while I'm going to share the story, my story. Oh, here I see you again. Hello. Okay, so
I'm gonna smile. So if I get stuck, it's with a smile.
you better smile all the time. You don't have any other choice. Okay, so I want to start, like you said, you gave them the background story. I think one of the important things that really affected my life, and which also I will explain in a minute, is I used to see both of our parents as very, very strong people. Like I used to think our dad as Superman. I thought like he can do everything. I thought he's physically strong because he's also tall and he was working a lot with his hands and building things. So I was sure that he's like Superman. He can solve everything. He can do whatever he wants. He can save everyone, and physical strong as well, and obviously mental strong. And when they got divorced, one of the first thing that happened that I saw him collapsing. I saw that very strong, powerful person that I admire and that give me safety, makes me feel stability. All of a sudden, I saw him collapsing. I saw him crying. I saw a lot of things that I didn't expect seeing, and I didn't know how to. What am I supposed to feel about it, and how to even take it in or not? Like I didn't know what to do with that, and it really affected a lot in my life. I can say that up until now, I find that coming up into my mind, saying, "Okay, because I saw him breaking, so that's why you expect now people to break." And there was a lot of anger on our mom because of the things that they've gone through in the divorce, because she was still strong and he was collapsing. So I kind of saw the difference between them, and I was very, very angry at our mom, up to a certain point that I had to come and say, and this was part of my healing process, that I felt that I truly hate her. And I said to myself, I don't want to hate my mom. And I was about 20. I think it was when I came back from England. And in England, our relationship was better because I was so far away. Mom and I connected again. And I came back and I said to her, I have to tell you that for like 3 or 4 years, I truly hated you. I don't anymore. I love you now, but I have to share this with you because I need to clear my conscience. And we just sat down, we talked about it, and we cried. And I felt like I'm cleaning so much out of my heart, just telling her that and telling her, I really want to love you. I choose to love you. And I want to open a clean page. So I had to say that. I have to say that I'm not holding anything in me. And I do love you. And just by saying that also, although I thought she will feel really hurt, and she was at the beginning, but she said, okay, you do love me now. So I'm willing to hear that. So it was also a very important decision for me to make in my healing process, like to be honest about my feelings and not try to hide them, because I want to spare other people's feelings, because I understood that as long as I hold it within me, I don't really forgive her. So I had to say all the things that I had. And one of the things that kind of, I think all my life, my friend used to laugh at me and say that the things that happen in my life are like a movie, and they don't happen to normal people. They happen only in the movies. All those weird situations between our parents, and all the things that happen in their divorce. And I was just in high school, so they all the time tell me it's funny, but life is like throwing things at you, and you need either to grab it or to stay away from it and try not to get hit by that rock that is being thrown to you. And they used to tell me, like, God doesn't like you, right? I mean, keeps throwing these stones at you. And that was in high school. This is how I felt. I felt like I need to either take it in, like hold it, or I need to kind of stay away from those rockets being sent to me from God, because he truly doesn't like me if you keep on sending them. And I remember saying that to my friends all the time. They were laughing at it. It was like a joke, but I took it in. I mean, like, okay, be aware. Life have a lot more to throw at you, so you don't know what is coming next. And it was really difficult to live in this like emotions with me. Like, you need to be aware. Okay, bad things are coming. Like, you know the saying in what's the name of this movie? This series, Winter is Coming. So this is like something I had in my mind all the time. Like, be careful. Just be careful. Bad things are going to happen. And then when I was in the army, I was 6 months in the army, and someone tried to rape me. And on that day, I hit him. So, and I hit him and I ran away. And for the entire night, because it happened around like 9:30, 10 in the evening. So up until 6 in the morning, I just kept on running the entire night in the army, in the base. And in the morning, I came to my shift in the tower. I used to work in the I used to be an air traffic control. So I came to my shift in the tower, and all of a sudden I started crying. I shared what happened. Someone told me, listen, he tried to rape you. You need to go and share that. And I had anxiety. I got in depression, deep depression. I had to take pills for 6 months. I had to be with someone watching over me all the time. So I moved to live with my sister, our sister, the second one, and she was watching over me all the time. She wouldn't let me shower with the door closed. She wouldn't let me eat with knives, because everyone was so worried about me. And honestly, they should have, because I was in a very, very bad situation. But I remember going to the therapist, because also with the pills, I had to go to the therapist as well, talking to the psychologist. And she said, and I told her the story, and she said, do you understand that you saved yourself? And I kept saying, I didn't. I just hit him and I ran away. And she said, do you understand? She kept on saying this sentence over and over in every session, and showing me how things during life, because she wasn't talking only about that situation that I hit him and ran away. She was showing me during life how I kept on really, truly saving myself in different situations, even between our parents, even between a boyfriend that I had. Like, she kept on telling me, you saved yourself. Do you realize that? And that was a very important moment in my life, that she kept on saying that and showing me that I actually, without noticing, I took control and I did something different because I didn't want to be in a certain situation. And that was a very important point in my life, that she kept on saying this sentence. I still remember her face saying that because it was so strong for me. And I think the last like moment that did all the changing, if you kind of roll it, so it's a certain point and then you keep on like a safe, so you moving to a certain part, and then the second one, and then the third, and then the safe is open and you go to the next level, you change completely, and then you close the safe and you never look back. So I think the last one was after leaving the army, obviously having that anxiety and depression. And then I had also, I went to England. A lot of things happened there, came back, still feeling that life is throwing balls at me, rockets at me, very difficult things that I need to deal with. And then I had 2 years of stomach ache, 2 years knowing what I have in my stomach, and terrible stomach ache, and also getting a lot of antibiotics. For 2 years, I was sick, okay, all the time with different things, finish one antibiotic and taking another one, and taking a probiotic as well, but also antibiotic all the time for 2 years. And again, my friends were laughing at me when we go out. Obviously, Rakefet is going to drive because she is on antibiotics, so she can drink. So for 2 years, I was a driver because I was drinking antibiotic. I couldn't drink alcohol, and it was funny, not to me. But then I went to the hospital, and I was there for a whole month, just doing a lot of tests and things to check what is wrong with you. Like, why are you 21, 22, and you have all these problems with your stomach? It doesn't make sense. Maybe you have Crohn, maybe you have colitis. What is it that you have? And doing so many tests for a whole month, I was in the hospital. And I remember they told me, you don't have anything. You don't have anything. Just go home and just, I don't know, live your life this way. I mean, they told me that my, how does it's called in the stomach? That they say that it's angry testicle. Is it?
Yeah, IBS.
Yes.
Irritable bowel syndrome.
Irritable bowel, yes. So in Hebrew, when you say it in Hebrew, it's called like it's an angry bowel. Yeah, angry. And I noticed that it's not angry at anyone because I'm not upset. It's just that it's very sensitive. And then I had, like, I remember coming back home from the hospital and telling myself, you've been there for an entire month. You've been through terrible tests. You drank some terrible things in order to do those tests, and a lot of, blood tests, and you're all needles in your hands, and you don't have anything. Okay. So they couldn't find anything. So you need to find the solution. And that was the moment that I said to myself, I have to take control. I don't want anyone else telling me what I have, what I don't have, what I need to do, what I don't need to do, keep on throwing the balls at me. I don't want that anymore. I'm going to take control of my life. I don't want to be a victim of life anymore, because looking back, seeing all the things that I've gone through, it was like, it was a movie. Okay. Someone wrote that terrible script and I was the actress in it. I don't know why. I didn't want that. I didn't feel like I chose that, but I did. I understand that now, but I didn't want to be the actress in this movie anymore. I wanted a new script, and I wanted to start writing my own. So at that moment, like coming out of the hospital, sitting with myself in the living room, and mom, and I tell mom, like, my stomach hurt, and she tell me, yeah, but you don't have anything. So just grab yourself and go and help me with the dishes. And I was like, oh my God, she think I don't have anything. And they say I don't have anything. So what is it? What is going on in me? And I know now that it was really that my sensitive bowel was just feeling all those emotions locked in me, that I didn't know what to do with them. So I was very, everything that I ate and every emotion that was locked in me just went there and was stuck. And I had to let go of these emotions, and I had to cry and to scream and to write down and to go to nature and to be alone and to be with friends and to dance and to do all kind of healing things and process in order to learn how my body reacts and what. And still until now I notice that when my stomach is not calm, I say, okay, something's going on in my emotions. This is the connection to the body that you talked about. And I notice, and this is something that Yaara and I, because we have gone through life together and we were so close when we were young and still, we kind of changed the way we looked at life to all the time observe life, like to be aware of what's going on inside of us and how things outside of us affect us. And I think this is the moment when we started doing that. And we started doing that by sharing one another and reflection. And when we started doing that, I think we took back the control to our hand, because we stopped saying like, I feel stomach ache, I don't know what to do with it, I'm going to take a pill, someone give me antibiotic, I will go and do some checkups. And instead of saying, okay, my stomach is hurting now because I feel that, because I'm dealing with that. And this is the moment that I actually kind of, the lock was open and I said, okay, the safe is now open. I can change it. I can change it. I don't need to feel that anymore. Yeah.
I think that it's more than we just, because I mean, a lot of the things I talked about the anorexia, but many of the things that we talked about being sick for 2 years, which, happened to me multiple times in life, also with the stomach when after the army, and then also with PTSD a little bit older. So there were so many times in life where we had to take things into our own hands, to take the responsibility of healing ourselves. And I think that we actually created a new life and a new way of living, for ourselves, by ourselves. We came out of that circle of pain. You came out of that script that someone wrote for you. I came out of that being small and always sick, because I always thought of myself as the sick one. I came out of that. And so we completely wrote ourselves.
We completely, can you say that again?
Some things.
Yeah,
we completely wrote a new story.
Yes.
We completely wrote a new story for ourselves. And I think that this is one of the things, or this is exactly like the path that we've created in LifeBloom and the life principles that we've learned that we live by now. Like that's, I think, something that's very unique, huh?
Yes. This is the life principles that we live by for, I think, over 20 years now. And we do them every day. It's something that this is who we are. And talking to people around me, sharing like the thoughts and the things that we talked about, people tell me, wow, this is a perspective I never noticed, I never heard about. So share more about it. And this is exactly why we created LifeBloom. And I think because you and I are so different, because you are more connected to your body, to your emotions, and I am more head-minded, like thinking about doing the list that I need to do, the to-do list, and very like, okay, putting the emotion aside. Okay, focus. You need to do that. 1, 2, 3. When you finish that, you can feel. And you're not like that at all. So all the time we reflect for one another at the other side. And sometimes I ask you something and then you tell me like the solution. Then you say at the end, like, that if I would have asked you that, you would say exactly the same. Like, those things. And I like, yeah, I know, but I couldn't tell them to myself right now. So really having one another, having the community, having a strong woman like me, and knowing that she's connected to the same principles and she is here for me. I mean you, but also the community that we are creating now, as of women that want self growth and are here to do the work and not to blame, and taking responsibility. And I will say that again, taking responsibility is not blaming myself. Okay, it's important because I
No.
don't blame others, but I'm not blaming myself either. I'm looking at the decisions that I made, the choices that I made, and
Mhm.
saying, okay, they have led me here. How am I going to choose differently next time? Why did I choose that? What was going in me at that moment? And this is exactly the vision that we have when we created a LifeBloom community.
No.
And I think it's time we will share with
Wait,
you, the people.
wait.
Not
I
yet.
just want
Oh,
to add. I want to add another piece of layer here, because I think another thing that is really unique about our perspective and the things that we bring in Life Bloom and in our community is that we see life as a whole. We're not here to like fix one area of life and let me help you with your relationship, let me help you with your body. We know that we want to live a whole life. We want to live a life that is built of so many areas, and in maybe in all of them we have things we need to work on. Maybe in just some of them, but our goal is not to just be great at this. It's to create kind of a sense of a more fulfillment, more joy, and also to give you tools to do the work in every life area that you need at that moment, and to grow simultaneously, sometimes here, sometimes there, and to just find like elevate your life in total, not just in one place, and to do it together, of course, because like we said, we also have two more sisters, and for us being a part of a feminine tribe is just, it's in our identity. I can't think of myself not a part of a feminine tribe. I think it's really in us, in who we are, in our DNA.
definitely. And you said it very important what you just said about like having different area in our life. I just think about when I just became, when I opened my business, my first business 15 years ago, I became independent and I took a course there. And it was a year course and I put all in, and then I got a baby, Taylor was born, and all of a sudden I didn't know what to do with all
Yeah.
the things I used to do until now. How am I going to juggle between the two? And I had like to put business aside for a certain time, and it just came with so much guilt. And then obviously what I know now, I didn't know then, and I didn't practice then every day. And luckily we have one another to share and also to advise, and also just to give a hug and say, you got it, I'm here for you. So yeah,
Yeah.
this is what Lifelong Community is all about, to be there for one another,
Mm-hmm.
and strong feminine energy holding one another
Mm-hmm.
too. Yeah,
Now you
so
can share.
you want me to share? Okay, I'm going to
Yeah.
share. All right. So we are super excited to share that because pretty soon, it's actually going to be next week, we're going to launch our Blooming membership. And it's going to be, this is the first time if you hear that video and it's like years past. So just know this is, we're sharing now
Here.
for the first time our founding member launch, but you might hear it in a different time. So we are so excited because we're going to launch our membership, Blooming membership. And in our Blooming membership, you're going to get, first of all, a sharing circle, because we know how
A
important
woman's
it is.
circle.
Yeah, it's only for women, sorry, meant for moms, for working women, and that are, as we said, self-devoted, devoted to self-growth and knowing that they can grow more, and they want that, and they believe in themselves, but they need the guidance, and also they need walking together hand to hand, because our community is not just courses you're going to learn to, you're going to get the principles, you're going to know how to practice them, but it's really about sharing and be there for one another, and being able to feel at home, that you can say everything that you want and it's okay, there's someone there to support, to listen, and to help you with the guidance. Yaara, do you want to add anything that I forgot maybe?
No, We'd be happy to see you there. You're
Yes, so
super welcome and invited.
yes, we're launching next week, less than a week actually. And if you want to be in our founding member launch, part of our founding member, because you're gonna have a lot of effect on how this membership was gonna look, because we're gonna ask you things and we want to hear what you have to offer, what are the things that are gonna help you. So we might even change, the thoughts of what we have, what we are planning to see that it's something that really works. And because we are all for the results, we're not interested in just like teaching. We don't want you just to go to do a course. We want you to live it every day. So if you're interested in the launch, so you can just leave your name here and we will send you here in the comments, and we will send you the link the minute that the launch will be open.
And if you're seeing it years later and you're interested in joining in the next launch, whenever it is, also leave your name and we will contact you, of course.
Yeah, and you can join the waiting list for the next membership.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, we'll.
Yes.
Sure.
Wow, Yaara, we shared so much. Thank you for the open heart, and thank you for being my sister and walking this path with me. It's not obvious.
I can't imagine doing it without you in any way, shape, or form. I don't know who I would be. Really.
Yeah, I know. But now I'm gonna cry. So, and I truly love you,
You're gonna
sis.
say,
Yeah.
Me too.
I love you. Okay. We'll see you soon in the launch, and we will be happy to see you there. Bye.
And see you here next week for our next weekly live.